Now, there is no doubt about it that ever since what happened on September 10th to Charlie Kirk when he was murdered by a terrible human being, I don't even want to mention his name anymore, because that's how it should be. We should not give this man any more recognition at this point. But we know one thing about Charlie Kirk is that this is creating a lot of pushback against specific celebrities and or personalities, those in show business or those that are authors, for example, Stephen King, that have been not only mocking Charlie Kirk, but also lying about him, and how that in turn is causing a lot of those in the general public to really call out people like Stephen King, and even actual celebrities, actual actors as well, calling out King in the process. This is Mike Zero. Subscribe if you're new and like this video to see future updates. You can also follow me at Mike01. I thank you also very much for the great and kind support. Now, one thing about Stephen King, and I've said this so many times before, I really don't see how this guy could really recover after what he did on X, over how he lied about about Charlie Kirk outright on social media, about, you know, the whole Charlie Kirk situation, about, you know, the whole hate toward LGBTQ communities and all these different things. Really was absolutely disgusting behavior coming from Stephen King. I don't see how he's going to recover from that, because now you have a lot of people boycotting his work, actually just outright leaving his books, dropping his books, putting them in the garbage, not seeing his movie adaptations like The Long Walk, or shows like Welcome to Derry, which is technically a prequel to the It franchise. However, what's interesting here has a lot more to do with what Mel Gibson, and among other actors, had to say about Stephen King as well. Now, with the death of Charlie Kirk causing so many celebrities and personalities to come forward as well as the general public, one major development now involves more to do with Stephen King and the backlash surrounding him after he mocked and lied about Charlie Kirk on X, and how some celebrities are now calling him out for his lies. One of which now involves actor Mel Gibson, where he decided to call out King for his behavior. Gibson delivered the following. "Look, I think everyone knows this as much as I do," he says, "but I'm completely honored to be a true American patriot, and to see what happened to Charlie Kirk was not only inhuman by this awful person, but it shattered our entire country. And to see people like Stephen King lying about Charlie, who was also a true American patriot who really honored freedom of speech and even tried to understand the minds of different opinions out there. Regardless if they were on the right or the left, Mr. King is irredeemable as far as I'm concerned. I have never seen behavior like this in so many years, if ever, after someone's death who happened to be such a large public figure to the American people. It's people like Stephen King who are creating such hate to so many loving patriots out there, and I hate to see the state that we are in right now, where there are so many out there like King who gave out an insincere apology. You know, look, I get it. I made some mistakes myself in my life. I said some terrible things. It cost me my career for a long while, and I'm still struggling with my career in a way. But I owned it and accepted it and decided to improve myself. And I may never gain the respect for fans that I lost, but I eventually began to respect myself over the years." Now guys, let me say one thing about Gibson here. Now, what I like about Mel Gibson is that he definitely just absolutely admits that he made some terrible mistakes before in the past, and he said some crazy things, believe me, very crazy things in years past. But he owned it, he tried to build himself, and people are going to debate over that as well, whether or not you could ever, you know, respect Mel Gibson after what he said many years ago. But you know what I like about Mel Gibson? He tells it like it is, he speaks the truth, he's a true American patriot, he really speaks for this country, and not only that, but he's also a messenger to the entire world in many ways, because of what happened to Charlie Kirk now, and how he's trying to defend Charlie Kirk after all the lies being spewed by a lot of those in the media, people like Stephen King who had to retract what he said on X because of that forced apology. People are also pointing out how fake and phony it came across as. However, Mel Gibson continues, and I expect Stephen King to do the same, but I don't see that happening coming from a man who never shows any remorse, and if he does it all because of business. Never would I have thought that we would be living in a time where a man who was assassinated would be mocked, lied about, and politicized on social media. Never. What happened to us? What happened to us as a country? Where are we going? It's up to us patriots to stand up and address these issues of what's happening to the younger generation out there. I suggest Stephen King get off social media media through X or any other means, and that he is on, of course, and he should stay off for a while to really build himself to a better person, because from where I'm standing right now, he really is on the course of becoming an irredeemable person after what he lied about Charlie Kirk. As a patriot, I feel it's my place in this country to really inspire other hardworking American citizens to just stand up for truth. And guys, let me just say one thing about Mel Gibson. I mean, I will say he is a true American patriot. He really does genuinely love this country. But look, say what you will about Mel Gibson. I know a lot of you are going to have differing opinions about the guy. Some people do. Some people will never respect Mel Gibson again after what he said so many years ago. But in this moment, in isolation, you know, based on what he was trying to defend in 2024 and what he's trying to defend now in 2025, it is very telling. I kind of find it very different for, you know, an actor like Mel Gibson to admit that what he said cost him his career, and even now, even though he's trying to make a comeback, it's still very much hard and difficult work to actually sustain it. So, again, he goes on to conclude, "It's time to stand up for truth and to never bend. Men like Stephen King need to just go away for a long while as far as I'm concerned, and we are seeing many actors and those in the film industry saying such awful things about Charlie. I don't care if it's direct or indirectly at the guy, regardless of its unhinged behavior coming mainly from those in show business who sadly don't have a true grip with reality on how many hardworking Americans live their daily lives." Now again, what I like about the whole you know, Mel Gibson thing is that he typically does tell it like it is when anything major happens like this, or any kind of a major event happens where you have a lot of those, you know, just snapping back at each other, and he's trying to just be the middleman and to kind of just bring a lot of people together. And notice how he's trying to even, in a way, tell Stephen King to build himself, to just maybe get off social media and shut up for a while. I mean, he is obviously criticizing and destroying Stephen King in the process, but he's also telling him, perhaps you could actually build yourself up too, as much as I did over the years. But one thing for sure about Stephen King right now is that I really, much like Mel Gibson, I think it really has come to a point where Mel Gibson is right, that he is basically in an irredeemable position right now. I'm talking about Stephen King. I don't really see how he's going to recover from this. I don't see how a lot of fans of his own are going to come walking back to him, no pun intended, for the movie The Long Walk. A lot of people are boycotting this film. A lot of people are checking out, not seeing this movie because of what he said on social media. So it's going to be interesting to see what the box office results are going to look like. As far as reviews so far, they seem to be quite okay, but there are differing opinions when it comes to the critic side of that actual movie. But overall, there's a lot of things to discuss when it comes to Stephen King, and I'm sure that in a month or two, he's just going to go into his full-fledged, unhinged behavior about another public figure out there that may face a very troubling situation. You know, I really have no doubt about that Stephen King is going to just go back to his original self. Right now, it's all about promoting The Long Walk, stabilizing the movie The Long Walk. It's all nothing more than business. And I would like to hear what everyone has to say about this below in the comments, and everything else in between, ranging from Stephen King to Mel Gibson. And if you guys did enjoy the content for today, make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel, and I will catch you guys later.